It's a reply you don't even draft. Someone writes, "Let me know if that's okay." You don't say yes, you don't say no, you just don't correct it. Later, when you try to push back, you're told the window closed, not when you agreed, but when you let it stand. That's the paradox. The moment you stayed reasonable in writing is the moment your right to dispute quietly expired. One version starts with an email thread that feels unfinished. A supplier summarizes a call. A colleague recaps a discussion. The wording isn't perfect, but it's close enough. You notice a line that nudges things slightly in a direction you didn't choose. You consider replying, then decide, it's not worth the back and forth. You tell yourself you'll deal with it if it becomes real. The problem is, on paper, it already is. Weeks later, when expectations clash, the thread resurfaces. Not the call, not your internal hesitation, just the written exchange, uninterrupted. The phrasing you meant to revisit now reads like settled ground. The absence of your objection has been doing quiet work in the background. Another version shows up with a complaint. You raise an issue, you get a response that half acknowledges it, half deflects it. The tone is conciliatory. We understand your concern. As discussed, the framing is slightly off, but pushing back feels exhausting. You're tired, you want it resolved, not prolonged, so you let that message be the last one. Later, when the issue escalates, that silence isn't treated as neutrality, it's treated as closure. The record shows a concern raised, a response given, and no further dispute. Whatever you thought you were reserving never made it into the written trail, and what isn't there doesn't get argued over. It gets assumed away. Then there's the version that feels almost cooperative. A contract variation, a policy update, a change for clarity. You're sent a document, you don't sign it, you don't object either. You just continue as before, business as usual. The change doesn't bite immediately, so it doesn't feel urgent enough to challenge. But the system isn't waiting for urgency, it's watching continuity. Action without written resistance. Behavior that aligns with the new terms. The paper doesn't need your signature if your conduct fills in the gaps. What connects all of these isn't misunderstanding, it's timing. Disputes don't vanish when they're unresolved. They vanish when the record stops showing resistance. The rule operating underneath isn't about fairness or intent. It's about whether a reasonable person, reading the exchange later, would see an open issue or a settled one. And writing is where that judgment gets made. Spoken hesitation evaporates. Tone gets flattened. What survives is what was written. And what wasn't challenged while it was fresh. Once time passes, the absence of objection doesn't look like patience. It looks like acceptance that had its chance. The sting comes when you realize why this works so well. It relies on your instinct to keep things moving, to avoid friction, to be easy to deal with. You weren't careless, you were cooperative. And the system doesn't punish hostility, it punishes silence that looks orderly. The final paradox is this. The version of you that stays reasonable on the page is the same version that gets read as finished. And by the time you're ready to disagree, the record has already decided you didn't.